From a professional soccer career to becoming a driving force in the mortgage industry, Brian Covey has shown what it takes to find your competitive edge. Get off the sidelines and get in the game. Find your competitive edge with Brian Covey.
Episode 100 has dropped. Guys, what an amazing feeling to actually say that and to share that with all of you. And first off, I want to thank everybody that has been with us on the journey, whether it's been one episode, all 100, a month, maybe a year. This has been 3.5 years since we actually launched the podcast. And never in my wildest dreams did I imagine back then, right 2 months before all of the lockdown and everything happened, we had a few in-person guests that were phenomenal. And then we had to move to virtual, which actually opened up some doors. And in life, it's not what happens to you, it's how you respond to it. And so we decided to respond. And I remember in that moment having a decision. Do I keep doing the podcast? I mean, I could have been another statistic. I think the last stat I saw was around 80% of all podcasts never even reached that 5th or even 10th episode, which is unbelievable. Just kind of speaks to the fact that people start things and never finish them. And so when we started this was a project to bring on cool guests, people in my life that were mentoring me, coaching me, that I had connected with. And I really believed sharing those conversations with everyone would not only impact their lives, because they got to be really involved and have access to people maybe they never would have before. You know, I know one of my first big guests was Dave Meltzer. And I remember reaching out to Dave, and he was kind enough to come on the show. And we were just launching, I think, in our first 10 episodes. And then we moved on. I remember one of the big guests after that with Ryan Serhant. And that was all during the lockdown. We were supposed to fly to New York, still couldn't travel. So we did virtual. And then the list goes on and on from there. And there's some very important people that along the journey really have become friends. And so that's the part you never know as you embark on these. But I want to talk about episode 100 a little bit today, because we had our Iron Tribe president, Karen, on. And I'll just tell you guys, man, if you haven't spent any time getting to know her story and what she shared, Karen Braunwater, phenomenal. From a member of Iron Tribe, working her way all the way through and up to the president of Iron Tribe Fitness. And if you haven't taken a look, phenomenal group fitness training, some individual, more customized programs that they offer. I'm a member, almost 5 years at our Iron Tribe Franklin location. And what I loved about this conversation was you hear people talk about stepping outside of your comfort zone. But Karen shared this, and I thought this was pretty cool. We always need someone around us that inspires us. It's the group environment of, if they can, I can. And think about in your life, who are the people around you? And do that audit. Are they pushing you outside of your comfort zone, or are they just letting you be average? You see, I believe the force of average in all of our lives every day, throughout our day, is working against us. And it's actually the enemy. It's not someone down the street. It's not some arbitrary thing that we make up. It's truly the force of average pulling us into being lazy, complacent, not doing what we know we need to do, and letting our feelings operate more than what our standards are. And so in this conversation with Karen, what I love the most is she talked about her journey all the way through. You know, and for a lot of us, as we look at this, even the podcast, 3.5 years into it, success is not an overnight thing. We'd all love to get from point A to point B faster. But the reality is that's just not how success looks. You put in hard work, you put in hard work, you put in hard work, and then you look up one day, and you're like, wow, I've come this far. And you look back over the body of work that you put together, and all of the extra hours, all of the extra prospecting, all of the extra things that you did to grow yourself, to really invest in yourself. And that's why you are where you are. And if you're not where you want to be, just take a look in the mirror and start looking at, where are you investing? Where are you getting outside of your comfort zone? And what I loved about during Karen's story, she talked about this, as she's elevated to every level, it's challenged her. It's afforded her an opportunity to grow into that role. She and our CEO, Forrest, at Iron Tribe Fitness launched their own podcast, right? And she came on and she admittedly said, hey, I'm a little nervous to be on the show and all these different things. I'm like, we got you. right? Like I'm nervous still going on shows. I remember when I started how nervous I was. And you should feel that nervous excitement and energy, much like an athlete does going into the game. You're nervous and you're excited because you care, right? Think about that. Any great athlete, if you were to ask them, they're able to channel that energy, but they still have those butterflies, that nervous energy, because they actually care about their performance. They care about their teammates. They care about the outcome, and they care about what's actually about to happen. You see, I always got nervous more so when I didn't have those jitters before a game, when I wasn't nervous. That's how we approach life, is if we have a worthy goal, we should feel a little nervous about it. We should feel a little bit like, if I share this with the wrong people, they're going to look at me and think I'm crazy. It's the goal that gets you up and out of the bed in the morning, that gets you excited about what you have coming. So I want you to look at your own life and think about, do you have intentional ways every day that push you outside of your comfort zone to a point at which you want to quit, you want to say no, you wonder if it's possible, the doubt creeps in, and you get a chance to overcome it? You see, that's one of the things I love about Iron Tribe Fitness, and that's why I shared this episode as 100 is, look, over the last 5 years, an anchor for me, I talk about this often, is my fitness. And that is something that every day you get a chance to compete with yourself. You get a chance to compete with your best. And whether it's a workout that you repeat, or it's something you go in the gym and say, you know what? I'm going to push a little bit harder today. And in the middle of that workout, one of the things I love is that point at which you want to quit. You want to go take a break. You just want to check out for a minute. You're like, this just got really hard really fast. And you don't quit. You see, what's separating most of us right now is putting ourselves in these situations over and over and over, so that it then is, as Aristotle would say, it's not just an act. It's not something that just accidentally happens. It's a habit. Do you habitually step outside your comfort zone and challenge yourself every day? And if you're not, I would invite you to consider the possibilities of doing that. And that could be working out, right? I believe that is a huge anchor. It could also be read 10 pages from a book to help yourself learn, get educated, read something that's going to actually move you forward in your own personal growth and development. It could be an extra 30 minutes of prospecting in your business that you're calling either existing customers or potential customers. And you're spending that time intentionally to grow the business. And that might be something you go, Brian, I don't enjoy that. Great. That's where you need to lean into it. And I've often found in my own journey, the things that I'm usually most afraid of or most scared of or don't want to do are the exact things I need to go do. Start writing those down. Start being aware of them. I remember over a year ago, I embarked on this crazy journey to run, at the time, what I thought would be insurmountable, 100 miles in 2 months. I was like, man, okay, leading up to my birthday, I had talked to my daughter about it. And at first it was 50 miles. I'm like, oh, let's try to do 75 miles. And then somehow we land on 100. And I'm like, how did I sign up for this and commit to this? And I look back now, and that was one of the greatest things, because I knew running was not something that I wanted to do. Running was something that I'd told myself I wasn't good at. So I had to rewire my mindset and my thinking. Much like when Karen was talking about at Iron Tribe, when you're around people that help your mindset and your thinking, you can accelerate that. And that's the beauty of group classes that are there. But I know when I finished that 100 miles and actually ended up at 120 miles, and I go back and I'm tracking it in my app, this year I'm on track and I'm already on pace to do almost 300 miles, and we'll break that record and be nearing in on 400 miles for the year. And so once we break that goal and we get past it, then we're able to go to the next level. And we know it's repeatable because we've done it. And so look back in your life. And why I share that story with you is because in your life, you have things you've done that you once thought were impossible. It wasn't for you. You couldn't do it. Maybe someone else could, but it wasn't in the cards for you. Look back over those evidences of success that have led you to where you are. I believe that's the beauty in what we get to do. And why I shared this episode 100 with Karen is, you look at her journey from starting as a member to now president. Many people probably would look at that and go, man, I would love to have that. But the years of work in between is what got her from that member to president. And then listen to the way she talked about culture. For all my leaders out there, lean in on this. As she talked about recognition, culture, how they drive their core values within the company, and they really recognize and reward coaches and owners differently than most franchises or models in any other industry. You see, when you give people an opportunity to become owners and CEOs of their own business, it's amazing what they can accomplish. And so for all my leaders out there, who on your team today do you need to empower to become that next leader within your organization? It's all about leaders creating other leaders that create other leaders. Build your forest of leaders and watch how your company culture and watch how that is contagious. And it's also the competition you need to pull your company forward. So I hope you guys enjoy this episode. I loved it. I got to listen to it back a couple of times, and I hope you guys enjoy it as well. Please leave us a review. Let us know what you loved about the episode, and make sure you check it out. Look, we're just getting started, guys. 100 episodes. We've smashed that goal. That once looked like a very tall mountain to climb. And now I'm already looking at what is the next 100, 150, 200 episodes look like. And I'm super excited. I will tell you tactically, I've already created my new dream list and my top 25. We're starting to go after some guests that I've been introduced to and met along my journey that I want to make sure I bring to our audience here. So guys, thanks for listening to the show. Thank you for your support and everything you've done. And I just want to reiterate, you've got my commitment that every show, we're going to bring it. We're going to bring you value. And then now we've got these solo episodes to unpack and talk about some of the takeaways and the things that we're implementing in our team and in my own life so that you can do the same. So let's get out there. Let's make sure we compete. Find your competitive edge. Let's get in the game. See you on the next episode.